Drug overdose deaths in the U.S. are on track to reach an all-time high this year. Some states had more deaths in 9 months than in all of last year. Dan Grossman takes a look at how the pandemic may have fueled the rise.
When looking at what takes place in Dr. Jim Caruso's world,
we're busier than we've ever been.
There is little we can add to what the stacks of paper on his desk already say.
For overdoses, we exceeded all of last year's totals prior to the beginning of October.
Every day, he examines bodies, filling out death reports as the coroner for the city and county of Denver.
We have been ringing the fentanyl bell for several months now.
And every day, more of those bodies come back with the same cause of death.
We have had fentanyl-related deaths in individuals as young as 9 years old. Kids are always tough, and they've been tough for me my whole career because you're looking at the most lost years of productive life.
Here in this city, the numbers match what so many other cities are seeing. By the end of last month, 260 people died from overdose, a number that already far exceeds the 225 that died in all of last year. And the story is similar in states such as Florida, Michigan, and Kentucky, to name just a few.
Drug overdoses are exceeding every metric that we've seen for the past decade.
Across the country, more than 74,000 overdose deaths have been reported this year, up from 68,000 last year. Even more striking is how much fentanyl, a drug that has been trafficked more by the cartel during the pandemic, has contributed to those totals.
The early part of the year, we've seen an increase of about 13%.
Dr. Ken Leonard is the director of the Research Institute on Addictions at the University of Buffalo and says since the start of the pandemic, overdose deaths have only increased at a faster rate, particularly among those with existing drug issues.
The pandemic and the isolation, for a lot of people, the unemployment, that creates a tremendous amount of stress.
It shut down treatment centers, isolated people from their support networks, and left people bored and stressed as deaths in nearly every state peaked in either April or May, just after the tightest stages of quarantine began.
When somebody in their teens, dies, it certainly probably hits especially parents who are doing my job a little bit harder.
Because it takes months to tabulate national overdose death numbers, the true extent of what is happening may not be known until next year.
We're in new territory as far as overdoses go.
Despite early indicators that we're already in the midst of an unprecedented drug epidemic taking place during this unprecedented pandemic. I'm Dan Grossman reporting.